Listen to me. This story, it's not in the history books. It's not on the evening news. No one talks about it at the bar back home. There's no parade for what happened that day. Because what happened? It wasn't supposed to happen. We were just a squad. 7 men. Young, hungry, trying to do the job, trying to stay alive. They sent us into that valley with a map, a radio, and a promise, it's quiet out there. That's what they told us. Quiet. But you know what they don't tell you? They don't tell you about the smell, the way the air changes right before it starts. The way the dirt kicks up under your boots when the ground is hiding something sharp. They don't tell you how the birds stop moving. How the wind dies. How even the dogs in the village won't bark. There's a moment, right before it kicks off, where everything slows down. Your breath, your pulse, the way your fingers wrap around the grip of your rifle. You feel it in your gut. That cold twist. That hard knot that tells you, this isn't right. That was me, that morning. Standing in that valley, sweat dripping down my back, radio crackling in my ear. And I knew we were in it. The locals, they wouldn't even look at us. The women turned away. The men watched from behind the walls, faces like stone. And the ridgeline. God, that ridgeline. It was too quiet. Too still. Every inch of me was screaming. Reyes, get the hell out. Something's coming. You're not supposed to be here. But orders are orders. So we pushed forward. Carter was up front. Young kid from Alabama. Always had a joke, always had that grin like nothing could touch him. I saw him glance back, just a quick look. And that was the last time I saw him alive. Because the next second, everything tore open. The ground shook. The air cracked. The first round hit the ridge, shook the dirt loose like the whole mountain was coming down. Then the second. Then the third. RPGs, mortars. Machine gun fire so thick it felt like the air itself was cutting you down. The radio lit up, voices screaming over each other. Calls for cover. Calls for help. Someone screaming for a medic. I hit the deck. Dirt in my mouth. Rocks tearing into my palms. The smell of cordite, smoke, hot metal. I remember hearing my own breathing, ragged, fast, desperate. And then I heard it. Carter's voice. I'm hit. I'm hit. And in that second, nothing else mattered. Not the enemy. Not the orders. Not the fact that I had maybe a mag and a half left. Just Carter. I crawled. Hands in the dirt. Blood mixing with sweat. My knees grinding into the rocks. And above it all, the sound of machine guns just cutting the valley in half. I knew what was coming. I knew we were surrounded. I knew I wasn't supposed to survive this. But there's a thing they don't put in the manual. When it's your brothers on the line, you move. Even if it kills you, you move. That's the story you don't hear. That's the story I'm here to tell. Because what happened next, no one could have imagined. Not even me. Before the bullets. Before the valley. Before the firefight that tore it all apart. There was just a kid. A kid from a nowhere town in Texas. Dust in the streets. Heat in the air so thick it stuck to your skin. Daniel Reyes wasn't the toughest guy. He wasn't the fastest. Wasn't the strongest either. But he had a fire. His father, a Marine, 2 tours, Gulf War. Hard man. Never talked much about the sandstorms, the nights under the stars. Just the boots. Always the boots. Sitting by the door, like a reminder. One day, you'll understand. Reyes grew up watching those boots. Watching his mom work double shifts at the diner. watching his little brother struggle with school, trying to keep up. And he knew he wasn't going to college. That wasn't in the cards. Money was tight. Opportunities were thin. So he started working early. Odd jobs, scrubbing engines at the garage, hauling scrap at the yard, sweating through the Texas sun. But there was something else. Something that came at night, when the house was quiet and the world outside felt too damn big. The stories his dad never told, but couldn't hide. The way his hands would shake sometimes at the dinner table. The way he stared too long at the flag during the 4th of July parade. Reyes knew there was a weight there. A weight that someday, somehow, he'd have to carry too. And then came 9/11. Reyes was 13 when it happened. Sitting in the school cafeteria, staring at the TV as the towers fell. He didn't understand the politics. Didn't know the names. But he felt it. The gut punch. The fire. The question that never left his chest, what are you going to do about it? He made a choice. High school barely done, he walked into the recruiter's office. Signed the papers. Not because he thought he was a hero. Not because he wanted medals. Because he wanted to stand for something. Because he wanted to protect the guys next to him. Because in his gut, he knew. Some fights aren't for you. They are for the man beside you. That was Reyes. Quiet. Focused. First to check the gear. Last to leave the wire. The kind of guy who didn't talk much, but when he did, you listened. Reyes wasn't a born soldier. He became one the day he learned how fast a firefight can tear your world apart. And that's what this story is about. The man before the medal. The kid who didn't think he was good enough. The soldier who swore, if he could keep just one of his brothers alive, he'd do whatever it took. Even if it meant breaking every rule in the book. Even if it meant never coming home. I wasn't the toughest guy. Hell, I wasn't even the fastest. But when it came to my squad, I wasn't going to let them down. Not them. But no matter how ready you think you are, nothing prepares you for the moment it all goes sideways. Nothing prepares you for the call over the radio that makes your blood run cold. The moment where everything you thought you knew falls apart. See, Carter, he wasn't just another guy in a uniform. He was family. I remember that night, hell, we sat around, passing a half-burnt pack of smokes. He told me he wanted to open a mechanic shop when he got back, wanted to buy his girl a dog. We all had dreams like that, sitting under the stars, pretending we were somewhere else. Just kids in boots, waiting for the next fight. My mom, she used to call every Sunday, right after Mass, just let me hear your voice, she'd say. I'd tell her I was fine, but hell, I wasn't. And my wife, God, she waited for calls that never came. She used to sit by the phone for hours, just waiting. Every round we fired, it wasn't just metal hitting dirt. Every shot was a chance, decision. And every decision, it had a name. It wasn't just Carter. It was Hudson. It was Miller. It was the kid who carried the radio, the one who couldn't even grow a full damn beard. When I squeezed that trigger, I wasn't just fighting for my life. I was fighting for theirs. That's what they don't tell you about war. It's not about glory. It's about the men standing next to you, the ones who never got to go home. Reyes, they are coming. And in that moment, I knew. It wasn't just a firefight anymore. It was survival. For them. For me. For everyone waiting back home. That's when I made the call that changed everything. We stepped off that morning with a radio crackling, boots grinding into the dirt, and the weight of the unknown pressing on our backs. 7 men. Just 7. Reyes. Gaza. Brooks. Sims. Carter. Diaz. And Lieutenant Maddox. 7 names. 7 brothers. The sun was already burning hot, like it was staring straight down at us, watching, waiting. The op order was simple, at least on paper. Reckon the valley. Eyes on the ridgeline. Meet with the local elder. But nothing ever stays simple out there. They called it the Valley of Ghosts. Because men went in, and didn't come out. Because patrols vanished. Convoys hit IEDs and never made it back. Because sometimes, in the dead quiet, you'd hear whispers on the wind. And that morning, walking in, we could feel it. Like the air was holding its breath. Like the ground itself was waiting for something to happen. We moved in staggered file. Maddox up front, scanning the ridge with his binos. Reyes second man, rifle high, eyes sharp, finger resting on the trigger guard. Gaza covering 6. Carter carrying the radio, sweat running down his back in rivers. Every step felt heavier than the last. Locals watched from doorways. Kids waved, half smiles, eyes too old for their faces. A woman turned her face away as we passed, her scarf drawn tight. And that's when you knew something was off. Because in a village like that, you'd hear chickens, goats, kids laughing. But there was none of that. Just the wind. And that damn silence. Brooks muttered under his breath, "Feels wrong, Sarge." Reyes didn't answer. Just kept moving. Because you don't stop. Not out there. You trust the mission. You trust the man in front of you. And you trust your gut. Even when your gut is screaming at you that something's coming. Reyes saw him, a kid, standing there, holding something tight in his hands. A plastic bottle, dented, sun-bleached. He raised it, almost like a toy, almost like he wanted to show it off. And Reyes, he froze. Because for a half second, the thought hit him, is that an IED trigger? It wasn't. Just a bottle. But that's the thing about war. Every moment, every face, every movement, it could be the last thing you see. So you keep your rifle up. You keep moving. Because if you stop, that's when it happens. We pushed deeper into the valley. The walls closed in, rock faces rising sharp on both sides, like teeth. No way out but through. The radio crackled, Maddox calling it in, eyes on the high ground. Reyes scanned left. Gaza right. Diaz checking rooftops. Carter breathing hard, the antenna on his pack twitching as he moved. And then, the birds. The birds stopped singing. The air felt heavy. And Reyes felt it in his chest, the same feeling his old man must have felt, years before, under a different sky. The feeling that the ground was about to break open. That something was waiting. That this was the moment before the storm. And then, Maddox raised his hand. We froze. Because what he saw on the ridge wasn't just a rock. It was something else. And in that instant, Reyes knew. We were walking into an ambush. The first round hit the ridge. It wasn't like the movies, there was no warning. No countdown. No chance to react. Just the crack of a shot, high, sharp, then the ground erupted. The second round tore through the air like it was screaming. I hit the dirt, hard. Face in the rocks. Dirt in my teeth. My mouth tasted like blood and metal. The world spun sideways. My hands scrambled, reaching, grabbing, fingers slipping on slick, hot metal. And then, Carter was gone. Carter's eyes. They were wide, staring, but not at me. Blood pulsing through his shirt, hot, fast, unstoppable. I could feel it on my hands, thick, sticky. My gloves soaked. Gaza was shouting, "Contact left! Contact left!" Rounds snapping overhead, sparking off the rocks. Brooks went down behind me, hit, screaming, clutching his leg. The world shrank, just me, Carter, and the dirt. I was screaming for a medic, but there was no medic. There was no one. Just us. And the valley. and the fire raining down. Carter's lips were moving, but the words didn't make sense, just sounds, fading. I pressed my hand into the wound, trying to stop the bleeding, feeling the life draining out of him, the heat leaving. And I knew, God, I knew. He was gone. The ridge lit up, muzzle flashes sparking in the rocks like fireflies. The world exploded. Rounds zipping past so close you could feel the air tear. Gaza was yelling, laying down fire, his rifle bucking hard, brass raining down. Diaz blind firing over the wall, eyes wide, breath ragged. Sims dragging Brooks into cover, both of them bleeding, both of them shouting. And Maddox was still up front, calling in a contact report, his voice steady, cold as ice. This is Maddox. Taking effective fire. 7 men in contact. Grid 25 Charlie. Requesting immediate support. His voice never shook. Not once. And Reyes, he was moving. Because he had to. Because if he stopped, they'd all die there. I kept hearing it, Gaza's rifle, the pop pop pop, the sound of brass hitting the ground. I could hear Maddox shouting, but it felt like it was underwater, far away. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I tried to get Carter's tourniquet on, but it was too late. His eyes were still open. And I couldn't close them. The ridge went quiet. For a second, just a second, there was nothing. No fire. No shouting. No wind. And that's when I saw it. The silhouette. Standing on the ridge. Watching. And I knew. This wasn't over. We were pinned. Radio silent. No air. No hope. I remember looking up at the sky, grey, bleeding light, and thinking. This is it. This is where it ends. This is where they bury us. And no one's coming to dig us out. I wasn't the leader. I wasn't the best shot. But I was the last one still on my feet. And if they were going to take us, I was going to make them pay for every goddamn inch. I thought about my brother. The way he looked in that last letter. The goofy drawing he sent of the two of us with capes on. I thought about Carter's kid. About Gaza's mom. And then I stopped thinking. I don't remember pulling the trigger. I don't remember the pain. I just remember standing there, rifle empty. My knees gave out before the sun did. This is Reyes. Fire Team Anvil. Grid 25 Charlie. We're not done yet. I don't know how I survived. I don't know why they didn't finish us. But I know this. That day, in that valley, with every reason to give up, I chose not to. They said I was a hero. That I did what I had to do. But that word, hero, it sits on you like a stone you can't shake. They gave me a medal, but they didn't see the nightmares. They didn't hear the voices in the dark, whispering the names of the men I couldn't save. I remember every face. Every scream. Carter's last breath in my arms. The way Jackson's helmet rolled down the hill like it didn't mean a damn thing. I remember the blood on my hands. It's still there. No matter how many times I scrub, it's still there. They don't talk about the men who never came home. They don't talk about the wives left behind, the kids who'll never know their fathers. Every year, they read my citation like it's some story in a book. Staff Sergeant Daniel Reyes distinguished himself, gallantry, intrepidity, above and beyond the call of duty. They read my name, but they don't read the names of the men who died next to me. I wear the medal for them. For Carter. For Jackson. For Miller, who always made us laugh on the worst days. For Doc Evans, who never got to go home. For their families. For the nights I hear their voices in the dark, asking why I'm still here. They gave me a medal, but they never taught me how to live with it. I wasn't supposed to make it. They were. And that's the part no one tells you about. The part that stays. I wake up some nights, and I swear I can still smell the dirt, the blood. Carter's cologne. I can hear their voices, laughing 1 second, screaming the next. And then, nothing. Just the sound of my own breath. The war, it doesn't end when you come home. That's the part they never tell you. PTSD. Survivor's guilt. Night after night, I see the same faces, the faces of the men who never made it out of that valley. Morales. Carter. Singh. Wallace. And the kid with the letters in his pocket, never got to read M. I can't forget them, no matter how much I try. Some nights, I hold my breath, waiting for it to stop. And when it doesn't, I wonder why. 22 veterans a day. That's what they say. 22 who can't carry the weight anymore. They taught us how to fight over there, but they never taught us how to fight what comes after. They give you the medal, they shake your hand, they say you're a hero. But they don't tell you how to live with it. They don't tell you how to wake up every morning and remember that you're the one who made it back. I didn't fight for a medal. I fought for the man next to me. And I give it all back, the medal, the speeches, the handshake in front of the cameras, if I could have just one more day with them. This story isn't about me. It's about them. The men who gave everything and never came home. The ones who don't get to tell their stories. But there's one thing they never understood. Why did I stay that day? Why didn't I run? Why did I risk it all when I had nothing left to give? They think they know. But the truth is, the answer is far more complicated than you think. Courage, it isn't clean. It doesn't come wrapped in ribbons or polished medals. It lives in the chaos, in the moments you pray you'll forget but never do. It's in the silent watches, the faces in your nightmares, the names you say aloud when no one else is listening. That's where the real fight is. If you're watching this, then hear me, these aren't just stories. They are lives, and they matter. The men who never came home, the brothers who gave everything, their stories don't end with a medal or a ceremony. They live on in those who remember, who tell, who refuse to let them be forgotten. Some heroes don't make it back. And some who do, never really leave the battlefield. If Staff Sergeant Daniel Reyes' story touched you, if you believe these truths deserve to be told, subscribe to Modern War Stories. Because these aren't just tales of war. They are the lives behind the fight. And together, we keep their memory alive.